Right, we're live. Just trying to suss my way around this thing. Sorry about the lighting. I'm in the front bedroom, and the sun this time of day ends up straight through that window, so the lighting's not going to be too good. Right, so this stream, first of all, I'm chuffed to bits. I've just hit 100 subscribers. Absolutely unbelievable. So yeah, I'm at 100 subscribers, which is a bit of a milestone, I think. So yeah, my new subscriber. I've got Jess M, who's a new subscriber. Gary Priestley, new subscriber. Kendra, which I believe is the 100th person. And I'd like to shout out to Tobin Templin, who shilled me out on Laughing in Disbelief's channel. I was on Laughing in Disbelief's channel about 40 minutes ago. So yeah, I'm stoked to bits with that. What have I got coming up? I've been talking to a guy called Flatter-Day Saints, who's a flat earther. So I'm hoping I'm going to be able to do a debate with him at some point. The problem is this time of year, I'm getting called out all the time. I was called out last night for a grit. I've got 2 grits tonight I was called out at. So it's a bit difficult at the moment until the gritting season stops. And then I'm hoping I can start getting people on the channel then, because now I've got 100 subscribers, I'm going to have to start getting some content out. What have I got on today? I was on Laughing in Disbelief about 3 weeks ago. He was doing a show called Best Advice Ever. So he invited me on, and that's what I wanted to share with everybody today. I see I've got, is that Ubi? Ubi? I see you're watching. So yeah, I'm going to start this stream. Link to Laughing in Disbelief channel is linked in the description. So if anybody isn't subscribed to Laughing in Disbelief, go over to his channel, subscribe to him. He puts out some great content. I'm quite sure you'll find some stuff there that you'll enjoy watching. So I just need to suss out how to do this, because I'm new to all this bloody stuff. And then I'll start the stream. It's only on for about 30 minutes, I believe. I have put a link in the description if anybody afterwards would like to come in and chat. If there's enough people in the chat and anybody would like to come into the stream, you're perfectly welcome to after I've played this. So I'll just see if I can suss out how to do this. And then I'll jump out. I'll remain in the chat while this is playing. I will apologise if adverts come on it. I am subscribed to YouTube, so there may be an advert come on it. We'll just have to cope with that, I'm afraid. So I add that to stream. I'll remove myself.
That's fantastic news. I'm very happy that you're up there. I know that Britain's had issues, has had like the variant, and I'm very happy that you're going to be getting your shot soon.
Yeah, me and the wife are both booked in for Wednesday afternoon, and I'll be getting vaccinated on Wednesday.
Well, congratulations. Today with me is Paul Camish. Paul Camish, I've been on a couple of streams with you. You're a solid person. You're a great guy, and I thought to myself, who better than to have Paul Camish on and share some advice? How are you doing today, Paul?
I'm very well, thanks. Yeah, thanks for saying that. Yeah, I mean, I've only really started about just over a year ago coming onto YouTube, and it was with Chris Mallard on the Daily Atheist show, and that's what sort of encouraged me then from doing that to start coming onto YouTube. I do have a channel. I don't have a great deal of content on my channel, but I've been on a few people's shows. I mean, now obviously you've invited me onto your show. I have been on a debate on Modern Day Debates, debating the flat Earth, which is really not my subject. I don't know if you want me to tell you a quick story about how that came.
Sure, please do. This is the place for stories.
Yeah, it was the same thing. I went into somebody else's stream, and there was 3 or 4 people in the stream. And when I joined, somebody else was talking, and they were talking about the flat Earth. And I just thought, is he a flat earther? And I thought, I'm sure he is, the way he was talking. So I just happened to ask him, I said, are you a flat earther? And he went, yes. I went, all right, why? Big mistake. Ask him why. Then I got the full lecture about how space was fake, how gravity's fake, how the globe's been faked. And so I got into a bit of a conversation with him, toing and throwing. And he said, do you fancy doing a debate? So I says, well, yeah, go on then. And he got in touch with Modern Day Debates. I didn't expect that's where it was going to lead to. But anyway, he got in touch with Modern Day Debates. And next minute, somebody messaged me and says, oh, James on Modern Day Debates been trying to get hold of you. So I contacted James, and he says, yeah, he says, because I did do a bit of a, well, he called it debate, the chat that I'd had with this guy. He'd watched it. This guy had sent him the link to it. So he says, I've seen you doing a debate on Praise's channel on the flat earth. I'd like to invite you on to Modern Day Debates. So I agreed. The date that he chose, I couldn't do.
Yeah.
Because I was on call at the time, and it was against Witsit Gets It, not the guy who actually originally wanted to debate me. So then the other week, I managed to get on to Modern Day debating Witsit Gets It, and to be honest, it was painful. It's so hard not to be insulting and to try and keep calm. And I just have to keep reminding myself it's just a joke. Just pretend it's like a game of chess,
Right.
and it doesn't really mean it, because it just plays with your head. I couldn't get my head around it at all. And I mean, they're very clever at the debating. They're very skilled at arguing. And I don't know if I'm convinced that they really believe it.
That's what I've heard. You're not the first person who I've talked to who's run into or run afoul of flat earthers. And from what I understand, there's quite a few flat earth channels on YouTube with quite a few followers. And it seems to me that if you were a flat earther and then you figure out that you're not a flat earther anymore, all your fan base is gone in one day.
Yeah, and I'm beginning to wonder whether a lot of it is that it's to, I suppose it's a secret way. Well, not a secret way, but it's a way that normal people can sort of like get a bit of notoriety. They can become a little bit famous. Well, some of them become quite famous. They build up a massive following. It's just, I mean, I think, what was his name? That Nathan Thompson. I think he had something like 15,000 followers. Absolutely mind-boggling. And like I say, you get into a conversation with them, and they're really well versed with what they're talking about. They've clearly done a lot of research, and to me, that's why I'm not convinced that a lot of them actually believe it, because if we can put that much effort in to researching that the Earth is flat, they'd only need to put a quarter of that effort in to research whether it's a globe.
Yes,
and they would find all the evidence that they need. But once they get into the flat Earth thing, it's a massive rabbit hole that they go down, because it's not just a case that they now believe the Earth is flat. It doesn't stop there. So the Earth is flat. You can sort of understand how people could come to that conclusion. I mean, obviously, when you're a little kid and you first learn about the globe, I remember talking to my dad thinking, well, why don't they fall off the bottom? And then you learn about gravity and stuff like that. So once the Earth becomes flat, gravity no longer exists, because gravity would naturally put everything into a ball.
Yes.
That's why the Earth's the shape that it is. So gravity no longer exists. So then they go to buoyancy and density. That's why things come down. But buoyancy and density is right, but you've got to add the gravity to it or it doesn't work. But they still try and argue buoyancy and density, but without the gravity. And then the moon landings become fake. So then NASA becomes fake. And then all the governments throughout the world that have space programs. I mean, we have a space program. All right, it's only a very small one, but to do with satellites and stuff like that. So the UK's in on it, America's in on it, Russia's in on it, China's in on it, India's in on it, Pakistan's in on it. All these countries are all in with this fake, and it just sends you down that many different rabbit holes. It just becomes.
It must be very frustrating for you, since you're a pilot. And
I mean, that's what got me into agreeing to go on to it on the channel and debating him for the simple reason is everything we do within flying is basically based on the Earth being a globe. All navigation is based on a globe. There's no denying it. I mean, I've still got the stuff here from when I did it. I mean, that's basically one of the charts that we would use, and the latitude and longitudinal lines. Well, when you look on the globe, the longitudinal lines, the ones that are going from north to south, from the equator, they get narrower, going north and south. They also do on the maps, they correspond with it. So if they're getting shorter, and this matches exactly to the globe, so you look at the reference on there, look on a globe, and it absolutely matches it, that's the shape of the Earth. It has to be. There's no way around it. The instruments that we use, the gyro, the direction indicator in the aircraft, it registers a 15 degree per hour drift every hour. So when I'm flying, so I'll be flying on basically a heading, a bearing. So I'm flying on that bearing. Every 10 to 15 minutes, you do what you call cockpit checks. So you'll check your fuel, you'll check your altitude, check what radio you're on. There's a list of all different things you've got to check, and one of them is check your direction indicator. So your direction indicator is basically the same as a compass. But if you imagine having a compass in an aeroplane, if you get a compass and move it about, it takes a while for it to catch up. There's a big lag in a compass. So if you just sort of like suddenly turn to the right, it'll take a while for the compass to catch up. So if you're flying on a bearing and you want to turn to, say you're going to turn left and going onto a different bearing, if you were following the compass, you would overshoot because it'd take a while for the compass to catch up. So what you've got is you've got a gyro in the aeroplane, which is a direction indicator. So what you do is you match your direction indicator up with your compass. So now this is running on, and what will happen is that will react a lot faster. There's still a bit of lag, not a great deal of lag, but there is still some lag. So if you wanted to turn, say, onto a bearing of 70 degrees, if you're turning left and you're going to go to a bearing of 70 degrees, what you do then is at 60, you start to pull out the turn. By the time you pull out the turn, you should be more or less on whatever degrees that you're wanting to fly at.
Right.
If you were to do that with a compass, you'd overshoot because the lag would be so great. Now, because this gyro is sat on the Earth, if it's spinning and it just sits there, in an hour, it will deviate by 15 degrees. So that's why in your cockpit, every 10 to 15 minutes, you do your checks. One of them will be to look at your direction indicator, see what it's heading at, look at your compass, match them up. It might only be 1 or 2 degrees out. In the distance that I fly, that doesn't matter. It's unimportant.
Right.
All I do is just reset it back to my compass. Carry on flying, doing whatever I'm doing, going wherever I'm going. 10 minutes later, I normally have it on a stopwatch or something like that. 10 minutes later, I'll go through my checks again, check my fuel, check my radio, check my altitude, check my direction indicator off. It might be 1 degree off. Put it back on. All the way through your flying, you're rechecking the direction indicator. Now, if I sit on the floor on the airfield and I don't move at all, the engine's just running, or basically I've got the ignition turned on, so I've got power going to the gyro, because a lot of the gyros are they're run by electric. Some of them run by they have a Ventura, so basically it runs by air going in. But an electric one, if you're sat there and you've got the ignition on, that gyro will spin up. If you set it to 0 and just leave it there, don't move the aircraft, come back an hour later, it'll be 15 degrees off. That's because the Earth has moved 15 degrees.
You will see in some museums a pendulum that I think works on the same basic principle, is that it moves in a 360 degree arc, but because of this kind of gyroscopic nature of the motion, and if the Earth didn't move, if it didn't rotate, it wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, I forgot. I don't know what the experiment is, but there's one of them where they get a pendulum and they do a similar sort of thing. They pull it out, so it's just going backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
And what it does is over a period of time, but they have it running through like an ink dish with like a little brush on it. So it draws a mark on the floor. And what it'll do is it'll give you an angle, and that's caused by the Earth's rotation. And by knowing what that angle is, people can actually work out where they are on the globe just by that. So it's, I mean, we live on a globe. It's absolutely, there's no argument about it. So yeah, I got into I've got into a couple of debates on the flat Earth, but like I say, it's not even really a subject that I'm even really that interested in. It was just something I sort of fell into. I think the problem is there's that much information on YouTube, and before YouTube, before the internet, to get a conspiracy going was probably quite difficult.
Yeah.
Once the internet came along and YouTube, and people can do their own channels and putting their own content out there, some of it's done quite professional. They can make quite a good job at it, and they can make it look quite good. And you start listening to these conspiracy theories. The first time I listened to, I don't even know how it came about. I just accidentally found something on YouTube, and I just clicked on it, and they were arguing about the flat Earth. And in fact, it wasn't an argument. It was a flat earther basically telling his reasons.
Right.
And some of the stuff he was coming out with, I was like, that's strange. I can't answer that. And without knowing the counter arguments to it, they can be quite compelling sometimes. I mean, one of the things he'll say is that obviously the Earth has a curve on it, so something over a certain distance, and I think they say, is it is it something like 8 inches per mile? Yeah, 8 inches per mile. So every mile, looking out over to sea, every mile the Earth drops 8 inches.
Okay.
And it's squared. So basically, after 3 miles, it should be something like about 6 foot down or so many feet down. So after a certain distance, things will start to disappear. So you shouldn't be able to see it. So for argument's sake, if you're looking over from one coast to another coast, and it's 20, 30, 40 miles away, you shouldn't be able to see the buildings on the other side. Okay. Now, they go out there with a camera, they take a photo, and sure enough, they can see the buildings on the other side. And then they explain that, this is what science says, this is what the globe is, and you shouldn't be able to see it. So that gets you sort of head scratching and thinking, well, it's clearly proven that you can do it. And it's not until you listen to the counter argument and you hear about refraction, which is basically because the sun's shining through the atmosphere, it causes refraction and it can lift something up. But then they'll argue, but it's lifted it 9 miles up. And you think, that's a long way to lift it. But that's a mistake to think. The distance is irrelevant.
Yeah.
69 miles on the Earth is only 1 degree of curvature.
Yeah.
If you're looking at something 69 miles away and the sun can refract it up, just 1 degree of refraction, that's all it needs. You can see 69 miles away.
Sure.
Then it doesn't seem so mysterious, does it? Now,
True enough.
Once I started listening to this, it brought me back to when I was a kid, and we'd gone down to, we're down south somewhere, basically on the Bristol Channel, which is the channel between goes to Wales. So we were like south of Wales, looking over the Bristol Channel, and we were there just on holiday. My mum and dad used to take us all over. We used to go touring. We'd spend 2 or 3 nights in a bed and breakfast, then move on to a different place and go see in different parts of the UK. I used to enjoy it as a kid. And this one time I was in a bed and breakfast, and it had like a bar and everything. And this one day, all these people started turning up with cameras. I thought, and they were all turning up with the bags and all these fancy cameras and all this lot. And my dad sort of like asked, what's happening like? And they says, due to the atmosphere, this predicted this week, we're predicting that we should be able to see across the channel. Where at the moment you can't see Wales, if this certain thing that they're predicting happens, they will be able to see across, and they wanted to take photos of it. As a time at the kid, I thought, well, that sounds pretty boring. But it had obviously stuck in my mind. And then when I was listening about the what the flat earthers were doing, I thought, that's what they were doing. They weren't flat earthers. They were just wanting to take photos of this thing that happened once a year if they were lucky. If the weather was at the was particularly right, and there was a certain amount of moisture in the air, and the sun was in a certain position, they should be able to get these long distance pictures, which normally they can't do. Then I realized, let's say 30, 40 years later, I realized what they were actually doing. But at the time as a kid, I thought, well, this sounds a bit boring to travel all this way, just take a photo across the water. Why don't you just go over the other side and take a photo? Right.
That's interesting. It really highlights the importance of being intellectually curious throughout your own life, your whole life, so that when you encounter some kind of crazy argument, you can pull up something from your past and say, well, that's probably not right because of this thing that I saw or this thing that I experienced from years ago.
Yeah, but let's say at the time, it obviously stuck in my mind. Let's say at the time, I never thought anything about it. I thought, well, I hope I'm not that boring when I get that old that I'm going to go running about with cameras trying to take photos of, I'd have been about 11 or 12, as 11, 12-year-old kid. That's the sort of thing that's going to excite you.
Right, but, exactly.
Like I said, 30, 40 years later on, I realised what they were doing and how it fitted with the flat earth argument, and why the arguments of these long distance photos just just doesn't wash. Nobody should ever believe that the Earth is flat due to the fact that people are taking long distance photographs, because it's 100% explainable.
This is a great place to pivot to the best advice you ever heard, Paul. What was the best advice someone gave to you specifically?
Don't worry.
Oh, don't worry.
Don't
that
worry.
was fast. That was a fast response.
Yeah, don't worry. I use it all the time, and I give this to other people when people get worried about certain things. I said, don't worry. There's no point. There's no point in worrying whatsoever. Worrying is a waste of time. You've got two types of worry. You've got a positive worry and a negative worry. A positive worry is something you can do something about. So the story I normally use is, imagine you're going on holiday tomorrow. You're going to go abroad and you need your passport. And you're worried when you start packing all your stuff, and you're worried that you might forget your passport. Well, that's a positive worry, because that then motivates you to do something about it. You can go get your passport, physically get hold of it, put it in your case, close your case. You now know it's there. You don't need to worry anymore. You know it's in your case. That is a worry gone. Now, a negative worry, so that's positive worry, you can do something about it. So there's nothing to worry about when it comes to a positive worry, because there's always something you can do about it. A negative worry is, imagine now you get on the plane, you take off, you're at 35,000 feet, and the engines fail.
Oh, yeah.
What's worrying going to do about it? It's going to make no difference to the outcome at all. It's something that is absolutely out of your control. So I always say that if it's something you can control, if it's a worry that it's something you can control, you can do something about it. You can alter the outcome. If it's something that is totally out of your control, then there is absolutely no point in worrying about it. You're just going to drive yourself mad. And when you worry about something and you can't do anything about it, all it's going to do is make the worry even worse. But you still can't do anything about it, and all you've done is just made it even worse. Now, I know it's easy to give that advice, and it probably isn't quite as easy to follow as I say. But if you use that as a guide when something's bothering you, and if you use that as a guide and think, is this a positive worry or is this a negative worry? Can I do something about it or can't I? If you can do something about it, then do something. If you can't, try not to worry about it, because the outcome is going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do apart from drive yourself mad.
It's part of it is knowing the things that you can control and the things that you can't control.
Yeah, exactly. And try not to worry about things that you can't control.
Right, because it will drive you crazy.
Yeah, if you're going to worry that it's going to rain tomorrow morning,
right?
All the worry in the world and all the thinking and all the planning isn't going to make no difference to the weather in the morning. It's out of your control. It's either going to rain or it isn't going to rain. But that's what I try to give most people advice about, is try not to worry as much as you probably do.
How did you come by that advice?
I have got no idea. I heard it 30, 40 years ago, and it's something that I must have heard it when I was at school. It was something I even thought about when I was at school. Can I control what's happening? And if I can't, I didn't worry about it.
Right. Can you talk about a situation where that advice really paid off for you personally?
Yeah, I can actually. Yeah. As you know, I've got my pilot's license. Yeah. Well, I started flying in 1999. 98, end of 98, beginning of 99, I started flying. And I was flying gliders. Not hang gliders, actual gliders.
Right.
You know, the long-winged fiberglass type gliders.
Yeah. There's no engine in a glider.
No engine at all, yeah. So, to be honest, flying a glider is actually slightly more difficult than flying a powered aircraft. Because every time you come into land with a glider, you've got to get it right every time. If you come into land with a powered aircraft, you can put the power on, go back round and have another go. You'll get it wrong with a glider, you ain't going back round to have another go. And that's basically what happened to me. I turned up at the airfield and I used to fly what was called a K-21, which was a two-seater training aircraft. So I used to sit at the front and I used to fly it on my own, or I'd fly the K-23, which was a single-seater version of the K-21. And I quite enjoyed flying them because they were mainly the two that I was taught. Well, I was taught on the 21. They then have a K13, which is a really old type glider. It's made from wood. It's got that, it's like a drum when you touch the wings.
Right.
And it's made of wood. Really, really, really good training aircraft. But I hadn't really flown it that much. I'd mainly flown the other two. So I turned up at the airfield and they were quite busy. And they says, "Oh, Paul, you can take the K13. And I says, "Oh, no," I says, I haven't flown that for a while. And I didn't really want to. And I thought, I'd rather wait till the 23's ready or the 21. "Oh, well, it's going to be a while. If you want to take it, take it. It's either that or you're going to wait for a while." And I went, "Well, no, I don't really." Anyway, I got basically pushed into it. Not pushed into it, that's probably the wrong word, but I was persuaded to take it. So jumped in the glider, off I went. I took off. I was at about 1,500 feet when you come off the winch. It's a winch launch. So it basically throws you up like a catapult. So I'm at 1,500 feet. I'm flying about, going left and right, not going too far from the airfield because there was no particular thermals that day.
Right.
Once you start to get to about 1,000 feet, you want to basically get yourself back into a circuit and come back into land.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm starting to get down to about 1,000 feet. So gets myself into the circuit, and basically so you fly downwind. So basically you fly downwind, then you do a diagonal, a base leg, and then come into land. So as you're coming downwind, the wind's blowing you.
Mm-hmm.
Then you do a diagonal leg, then you do your base leg, and then you come into land. So I'm traveling along. So I'm at 1,000 feet. Going along perfectly fine. My altitude slowly dropping off. I'm at 1,000 feet, 950, 900 feet. And basically what you want to be is when you turn on me last turn in to come into land, I want to be at about 500-600 feet to come into land. So I'm flying along, my altitude's dropping down and what have you, and I'm flying, looking at the airfield. As I turned to come on my diagonal leg, my altitude had gone back up. I must have hit a bit of lift, and I was almost at 1,000 feet again. I turned the last bit, and I'm at 1,000 feet. So I'm now looking at the airfield at 1,000 feet. I thought, well, no problem. I'll pull the air brakes out and come down. You've got air brakes on them, which basically it's like two things that come out over the wings. It disrupts the air coming over and it comes down. So I pull the air brakes out. I'd forgotten, I did know this at the time, that the air brakes on the K13 are really, really efficient.
No.
The 21 are good, but the K13 are brilliant. They will bring you down like, as if your wings have fallen off.
Oh, my.
So I literally turned around, facing the airfield. I looked, I thought, 1,000 feet, I'm too high. I cracked the air brakes out. I give it full air brakes. I then looked, closed the air brakes. I'm at about 100 foot. I just literally just plummeted. I'm looking at the airfield thinking, I ain't going to make it. Yeah. All I had below me was trees. That's all there was below me was trees. I thought, I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah.
And straight away, I just thought, Paul, don't panic because there ain't nothing you can do about this. You're either going to make it or you're not. So I'm now coming along, about 100 foot above these trees. So I'm coming down, and I just thought my training just kicked straight in. I need speed. I need speed because I can trade speed for altitude. Okay. If I go slow, if I start slowing down, I can't do anything. Yeah. I can't get that speed back. Once I get too close to the ground, I'm not going to get that speed back. So I thought, right, I need speed. So basically, I just put the nose down, put it into a dive. So now I'm hurtling towards the ground. But my speed's gone from sort of like 55, 60 knots. I'm now hitting at 100 knots, 110 knots. I'm absolutely tanking along. I pull it level. So now I'm literally probably 4 or 5 foot above the trees. But I've got loads of speed on. And I'm literally traveling like this now across these trees. The airfield that I had, that I was on, was an RAF base. So it's got a big security fence around it. And all I can see in front of me is this security fence. I thought, well, I cleared the trees, but I'm going to go ramming straight into this security fence. And as I come towards the security fence, I don't know what speed I had on, but I obviously had enough speed on. As I got to the security fence, I just pulled back on the stick. It went up, over, and landed.
Beautiful.
And I thought, how have I done that? basically, I just didn't panic. There was something, there was no point in worrying about it. There was something I could do about it, which was basically, remember everything that I'd been done in my training. I didn't have time to worry because worrying would have probably killed me. Yeah. And landed it. They came running over because they just saw me disappear over the fence. Right. They didn't know whether I'd hit the fence or what happened. They come running over. When they saw it, they looked at the glider, looked at the fence and went, "How the hell did you get that in there?" And I just went, "I've got no idea."
That's a great story, Paul. Congratulations on not killing yourself, sir.
Yeah, and the CFI said to me, "This is right. This is get it back onto the runway. You're going back up again." I went, "No, no, no." I said, "I don't want to go back up." He says, "Get in. You're going back up again. This time, do it properly." I jumped back in, literally got into circuit, come straight back down, landed, got out the glider, and he went, "You had to get back in it." This is because if you hadn't have done, he says, you would never have flown it again. This is I had to get you to get back in it before you had a chance to think about what had happened. This is now you'll think about how well you landed there, which you did a perfect job. It says if you hadn't have got in it, it says I guaranteed next week, two weeks later, months later, he said you refuse to fly that glider. You'd never fly it again.
I think that's interesting, is that he had the insight to know if you started thinking about the incident too much, it would have scared you. It would have affected you negatively.
And then afterwards, when he said that to me, and he says, basically, he said, "Don't blame yourself for what happened." He says, "That was my fault." He says, "You said you didn't want to fly it," and he says, "I told you to fly it." He says, basically what he said to me, "Oh, come on, Paul, you know you can fly it. You've flown it before. Just get in and fly it." And I went, not wanting to argue too much and look like I was backing out. I went, "Yeah, all right then." I got in it, and I shouldn't have done. I should have had a check ride first. And he says, "That was my fault. It's just I should have taken you up and given you a check ride."
That is a great story, and it really does show you how worry can get in the way of performance in these critical moments, right? In these critical situations, and just being able to take control of the things that you can control can save your life. Yeah,
I mean, seriously, at the time, I wasn't worried at all.
Yeah,
I just had to deal with what was in front of me. There was nothing else I could do apart from deal what was in front of me.
Yeah, I have found in my personal life that when I'm in a crisis situation, everything just becomes clear for me. It just becomes like I'm in the moment, and there's not a lot of worry. It's just being where I am, doing what I'm doing. And a couple of near-death situations, a couple of real crisis situations for me, and it wasn't until after the situation was over. It wasn't until after it was done that I started thinking about it and reflecting about it. But when I was in the pocket, it was just, this is what I need to do, and this is how it needs to get how to get out of the situation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's always better to have a plan, even if you don't follow the plan. Having a plan can keep you calm because you've got a plan. Like I say, even when something does come up and you don't quite have to, things change and you can't really follow the plan that you had, you can then sort of like modify that plan that you had. Whereas if you start with nothing, with a blank piece of paper, you've got nothing to modify. Whereas if you've got a plan, even if that plan isn't needed, you can modify that plan then to fit whatever situation you're in.
Exactly. Yeah.
So having a plan is always a good idea, and then you can either add, take away, or alter the plan as situations arise.
Maybe because what you don't want to do is to fumble. You don't want to go fumbling around in a crisis situation and trying to do 50 or try different things, 50 different things, when you really just have to narrow down and to execute a task.
Yeah, and concentrate on the task in hand.
Indeed.
That's the key thing to do is to concentrate on the task in hand. One of the main things that pilots are taught, whether you get an engine failure or whatever the situation is when flying, the first thing you do is fly the aeroplane.
Yeah.
Because even when you've got an engine failure, the aeroplane will still fly.
Yes.
Aeroplanes do not fall out the sky. As long as you put the speed on, put the nose down, that'll put the speed on. That will keep the aeroplane flying. So with flying, the first thing you're taught to do is fly the aeroplane, and then make basically a quick plan whether you're going to land. If it's an engine failure. So first thing is fly the aeroplane. Next thing, look out, see make a plan where you're going to land. Choose a field that you're going to land in, and then so you've got that plan going. Then you can try to start the engine. Give it a couple of goes to try and start the engine. If the engine isn't going to start, forget about the engine. Aim for what you went for, which was that field. Because if you spend too much time trying to start the engine, you might get yourself in a situation then where you're too low and you're going to kill yourself. Have a couple of attempts. If the engine isn't going to start, go for the field that you chose.
Right, right. Those are wise words. And sometimes in these, it's funny how these complex multitask situations can just boil down to a plan as simple as starting off with fly the plane. The most important thing for you to do is to fly the plane. The engine, though important, is not as important as flying the plane.
I mean, the thing with an aeroplane is if you start panicking and the first thing you start doing then is trying to see what the problem is, and you're not flying the plane, your engine's failed. So now you can put it into a situation where your airspeed starts to come off, and you'll come into a stall. Now, if you come into a stall and you've also got an engine that's out, yes, you can put the nose forward and you can pull it out of the stall, but you're going to lose a lot of altitude by getting yourself into a stall in the first place. Whereas if you fly the plane, you're not going to stall the plane. You will fly that airplane all the way down to the ground. So what you need to do is find a place that's safe to land. That the airplane will still fly, and that's why people used to say to me, "Is how can you fly a glider? There's no engine in it." And I went, "Yeah, it's one less thing to worry about. I ain't going to get an engine failure, am I?"
Right, right. Those are some really wise words, Paul. Thanks for coming on the show today. I think I learned a bunch of stuff about piloting, about flat Earth theories, and just fly the freaking plane.
Yeah, fly the plane. And the best advice for this time of the state we're in now is wear a mask and take the bloody vaccine. I got some good news the other day. I got a message from the NHS. I can book myself in for a vaccine, and I'm booked in for this Wednesday to get my vaccine.
Congratulations, sir. That is fantastic news. I'm very happy that you're up there. I know that Britain's had issues. Has had like the variant, and I'm very happy that you're going to be getting your shot soon.
Yeah, me and the wife are both booked in for Wednesday afternoon, and I'll be getting vaccinated on Wednesday.
Well, congratulations once again. So, Paul Kamish, where can people find you online, sir?
Just search Paul Kamish. That's the name of my channel. There's bits and bobs on it. There's some flying videos if people want to watch some of my flying videos on my channel. Have a look. The debate that I did with Whitsitt Gets It on Modern Day Debates, that's on there as well. And there's other little bits and bobs on. I was on Brainbug's channel about 4 weeks ago, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. I'm going to try and get his downloaded onto my channel as well, so people can find me there.
I definitely recommend anyone who's watching this to go on over, and I'll put a link to your channel, Paul, in the description.
I was muted. Hopefully you can all hear me now. Let me just check which audio I've got. I had to unplug me. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, so everybody, thanks for turning up. I thought I'd share that video. It was when I was on Laughing in Disbelief about three weeks ago now. So I thought I'd share that with people. And for people who didn't see or weren't here at the beginning, I've just hit 100 subs. So I'm chuffed to bits. So, yeah, it's great. Yeah. Gary Priestley, yeah, you just put on, you have 100 subs. Yeah, I have. Brilliant. So, yeah, I'm really stoked with that. Thanks to Tobin Templeman as well, because he showed me out on Andy's channel. And I believe it was somebody called Kendra, which was my 100th sub, I believe. That's who it was. If anybody's interested, I have put the link in the description, in the chat, if anybody does want to come in. Let me just see if I can copy that thing. I'll try and do it again. And then if anybody does want to nip in and have a chat, you can do. Paste. So yeah, that's in the chat now. I'll just give it a minute or two. I'll just say again what I've got planned coming up. I hopefully are going to have a debate with a guy on a channel called Flatter Day Saints. He was on Modern Day Debates last week, arguing the flat Earth. For some reason, I seem to be getting into these flat Earth debates, but they are good fun. I do find them fun. I mean, how can you fail arguing about the shape of the Earth? But yeah, so hopefully Flatter Day Saints, I'll try and get in touch with him and get something set up for a debate with him. Unfortunately, at the moment in time, I'm tied up with work. I keep getting called out on grits, so I can't really plan something. when I'm on call because I've got no idea when I'm going to get called out. I was called out this morning at 2:00, and I've been called out again. Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, Tobin, if you can join, that'd be brilliant. Yeah, thanks a lot. And then I've called out again 9:00 tonight and 3:00 in the morning. So yeah, I want to try and get that set up once the gritting season's over with Flatter Day Saints. I might be having a debate with Gavin from Praises channel as well. When I was at work this morning, when I was in the canteen, I went onto my phone and they were talking on Praises channel, obviously about Easter. And I can't remember what comment I put in, but I basically had said about Jesus possibly not existing. So Gavin's challenged me to a debate. So I'll have to get some time aside for that and do some looking up, because it's not really a position I hold, to be perfectly honest. Is Jesus a myth? Yeah, you could argue it is a myth. Or did Jesus exist, but the stories about him are a myth? Yeah, you could argue that one. That's my position. That would definitely be the position I would take, that the stories, obviously, about Jesus are myths. The next one is obviously Jesus did exist and the stories about him are true. Well, that's the one I reject. So the other two, it is a myth. The stories are a myth. Yeah, whatever. Whichever one it is. So yeah, hopefully I'll get that set up. But that probably won't be on my channel. Like I say, at the moment it's only a very small channel. I've got 100 subs today. So yeah, you probably won't want to come onto this channel with only 100 subs. So it might be on Praise's channel, and then I'll put it over onto this channel so that anybody can watch it when it's on. What else do I have? There was something else. I can't remember what it was. There was something. Oh, I was on Brainbug's channel. Good few weeks ago now, talking about UFOs. So I've already spoke to Brainbug about putting this on my channel. He said that's fine. So I'll do a premiere of that as well at some point, and I'll get that downloaded onto this channel. Do I have any other things? There's been a few streams I've been in. I mean, I was on Grumpy Old Dudes thing. That was a while back now, but it's on his channel, so I might download that. I need to get some content out. That's my thing that I need to do, is start getting some content out now that I've got 100 subs, and see if I can get it to grow a bit more. I'd try and get into a few debates, like say the Flat Earth debate, religious debates. I'd like to get into a few of them. But at the moment, I seem to be concentrating a lot more on the Flat Earth. But they are good fun to watch. So what else did I have? Did I have anything else? I don't think I just, apart from 100 subs. I don't know if anybody was on watched Junk Shop Library last night. Unfortunately, I missed it, because I think it must have been when I was called out. So I was gritting last night. I just noticed this morning that it had been on. Oh, Tobin's in. Let me add him. Hey, up, how's it going?
Hello.
Hiya, how's it going? Are you all right?
Yes, I am. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm really stoked today. We're getting the 100 subs. So yeah, I'm chuffed to bits with that. So yeah, brilliant. Whereabouts are you at now? Then whereabouts are you at?
I'm in Texas.
Texas.
Yeah.
What's the weather been like there then?
Right now it is that time of season where it's just really nice outside. In the nighttime, it's nice and cool, and during the daytime it doesn't get too hot. But I know we're about to be getting into it. I know that hot weather's coming.
Well, yesterday we had a gorgeous day. Yesterday it was lovely and warm. You could sit out in the garden. Last night was absolutely freezing. It got down to -3, I believe, last night. I was called out gritting. I had to go out and grit at 2:00 this morning. Today's nice and sunny, as you can see through the window. That's why I apologise about the lighting. I've had to come upstairs into the front bedroom. But unfortunately, this time of day, the sun is straight outside the window. So it's nice outside, but it's horribly cold wind, really horrible. And they're obviously expecting a cold night tonight, because I've got a grit at 2100 hours tonight and one at 3:00 in the morning. So I've got 2 grits to do tonight. So they're clearly expecting some cold weather to come in. We did have a bit of snow as well early hours of this morning. We had a bit of snow. We were white over.
Yeah, see, I don't get very much of that. I don't get very much of that at all. That
Yeah, I
3
mean,
degrees, I don't know nothing about that.
how cold does it get in Texas? Does it not get that cold?
Usually, typically, we're somewhere right around the 20s. You know, uh, it usually stays above 20,
Right.
but it has dipped down below that. But that's an average on how cold it gets here. So yeah, it's not even close to what you're getting.
Yeah, well, I lived in Germany. I lived in Germany for 5 years, and it used to get down to -10, -15 in winter on a regular basis. And the coldest place I've been is Poland. I went on exercise in Poland, and it got down to -30. It was that cold. It actually started to make the diesel in the vehicles start to go. Basically, the viscosity of the diesel had started to thicken up,
Right? Yeah, and
and
it
because
caught
it was that
fire.
cold. And I think they used to put an additive to it. I think it was sort of like a paraffin type additive, which stops it from freezing. Oh, see, Amiga Nuts is in the chat saying good show. Yeah, thanks, Amiga Nuts. It was when I was on Laughing in Disbelief's channel about 3 weeks ago. So I thought I'd best share it to mine, seeing if you haven't heard, I've got me 100 subs. Which is, I think it's quite a bit of a mile on to cross, really, but getting to your first 100. So yeah, I was chuffed to bits with that. So yeah, thanks again, Tobin, for shilling me out on Andy's channel. I was chuffed to bits.
No problem. I enjoyed getting to know you. You're another personality that I've just recently, come into interaction, and I enjoy your thoughts, and thank you for sharing.
Yeah, no worries. Like I say, most of the time I'm on other people's channels. I haven't done a great deal on mine. I mean, obviously, when you first start going on YouTube, you've got no subscribers. So I spend most of my time going on to other people's channels because they've got the platform, they've got the audience. So obviously, that's what I've been doing. But since I've been doing that, people like you and other people have noticed me with we sort of like interact in the chat, and my subscription has started to slowly climb up. And now that I've hit 100 subscribers, I think I'm gonna have to start putting some content out.
Person, Atheist Edge, Jim, he's connected me to so many people. His show is really cool, and he's all about that like collaboration and whatnot. Yeah, I would say go check him out and see if you can work with him. I'm pretty sure he would be open to it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I believe also the Tart Show's just started to do that, something similar along them lines. I don't know if you watch them, the Atheist Roundtable.
Yeah, no, I'm a subscriber to Normalizing Atheism, the Tart Show,
Yeah,
all the personalities, J Mike, Benji, Oz, all of them. Yeah.
all right, yeah, brilliant. So yeah, I believe they've started doing something. I think they're starting with like small, promoting small channels like this to try and build them up. And I also believe Fight the Flat Earth. Do you ever watch them?
No, that's a new one to me.
Yeah, if you're into watching debates and watching people totally losing, it's good fun. Yeah, it's Fight the Flat Earth.
Fight
the Flat Earth. Yeah, check him out. He's quite good fun. He really does rip into the flat earthers, and it's good fun watching him.
I thought it was a joke at first.
I did.
I didn't. I whenever I first started hearing about the flat Earth debate, I thought it was seriously just satire. Like I thought it was a joke.
Yeah, exactly the same. I didn't think it was a real thing when I came across it accidentally on YouTube, and I thought this cannot be serious. This has got to be a joke, and it isn't. They're absolutely serious. It's shocking.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, so that's what I've done. I've done a few now. I've done a debate with Wits It Gets It. I was on Modern Day Debate. I don't know if you'd seen that one, had you?
Yes. Yeah, with Witsit Gets It. Yeah, that dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, to be perfectly honest, I was terrified because it was like I'm new to YouTube anyway, and it was like the first real debate I'd been into. I've been into channels talking to people like this, and then, you know, sort of like free talking and disagreeing with people, which I don't mind doing on the spot sort of thing. But when I actually had to take part in a proper debate, plus on modern day debates being a massive platform that it is, and knowing there's all them people watching. I mean, you're talking, you know, when you go live, there can be like 1,000 people watching it. I think within 24 hours, it hit something like about 4,000 or 5,000 people had watched it. And I think at the moment it's going on for about 10,000 people that have watched it. So you're not just on some little obscure platform where nobody's going to see you. So having that in the back of the mind and thinking, you know, and debating somebody like Witsit Gets It, who is experienced in debating, and he will have heard just about all the arguments and will have a rebuttal for anything you throw at him. It was quite nervous, but I think I did all right. I could have done better. Looking back at it, I could have emphasised my point a little bit more. I got all my points across, which he never debunked any of it. So I was quite satisfied with that. He couldn't come up with anything. It did catch me out because when I was talking about the longitude and latitude, he changed it to X and Y axis, which is fine. It's still the same. So, you know, it's still the same thing. So I never really picked up on it. But what he did then is he then changed it to basically like the Ordnance Surveying maps, which use the grid reference, which is different to longitude and latitude. So when he said they've been using this for years, that's what he'd done. He'd changed it to that. I wish I'd have picked up on it, so I could have pulled him back on that. I didn't, but he still didn't debunk what I said. So yeah, I was happy with it. I could have done better. I know that, but it was my first one. And
yeah,
looking,
I think you did excellent. I think I would have probably got torn up. I have not tried any of the debate stuff yet.
yeah, that's the thing when it comes to flat Earth. When I've spoke to people at work and I've mentioned about the flat Earth, and they think that it's something that's dead easy to debunk, and it isn't. If you don't have some sort of knowledge in it, they will tie you in knots, and you won't be able to answer a single thing that they've got. And that's what you're going to be careful of. Sometimes a subject may seem very easy to argue against, but unless you proper look into it, it's not as easy as you think. But yeah, I was happy with my performance. I did one with Eiger Television on Praise's channel. I think I did really well on that one. Not the debate. I did do a debate with him, but that went pear-shaped because the computer I had at the time, I couldn't share my screen, so I couldn't share anything. Basically, I was on a Chromebook, so it wouldn't allow me to share. When I was trying to share things, it just kept crashing on me and kept chucking me out of it. So in the end, I had to do it all off the top of my head. I had all this stuff prepared that I was going to say, some stuff I was going to show, and I couldn't show none of it. So I had to do it all off the top of my head. But the ones I've been in where I've just sort of like gone into Praise's stream and Eiger Television has been there and we've talked about it, I've done quite well, actually. There's a couple of, in fact, I shared one on my channel the other day. So if anybody's interested, if you look down on the Witsit Gets It one, it's that's not a bad conversation that I have with him. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. I could probably arrange a debate with him again. He's quite keen on having another debate, so I might arrange that and get on a debate with him.
Right on.
Is the temperature in Celsius? Some Amiga Nuts have just asked. Is the temperature in Celsius? Yeah, it will be. Yeah, it is Celsius, isn't it? It's just mentioning the is the temperature in Celsius.
Oh, I think I'm talking about Fahrenheit. Yeah, whenever I was talking about temperature, I was talking about Fahrenheit.
Right. So what would that be in Celsius then?
Oh, don't catch me lying.
Yeah, you're gonna get me on it now.
I gotta pull out my little handy device here to figure that
I was just gonna do the same thing. I was just doing exactly the same thing. Going on to my weather app and seeing what it says. Yeah, Celsius. At the moment here, it's 4 degrees Celsius. So it's 4 degrees above freezing.
Ooh. What? My goodness.
And tonight it's due to, I don't know if you'd better see it, but at 5 o'clock in the morning, it's due to get down to -1.
What?
Oh my goodness!
I'm in a tank top.
Wow.
Yeah, so like I said, when I was in Poland, it got down to -30. So 28 degrees colder than it was. Well, 29 degrees colder than it's going to be tonight. And like I say, it was that cold, it was starting to freeze diesel.
Whoa.
Y'all's infrastructure must be have to be extremely up to par to handle those kind of freezes with your water and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, when I was talking about -30, that was when I was in Poland. Over here, a couple of years ago, we did end up being down to about -10, I believe. But that was an exceptionally cold winter. We got down to -10, and we had no problem with freezing, or we didn't have any problem with freezing pipes. But yeah, it's something you've got to be aware of. We've got fairly decent machinery for getting rid of the frost on the roads with the gritters. The ones that I use, it's all computer operated. I can control the amount of salt that I put out. We also have brine, which is basically saltwater tanks on the side of the vehicle. So when the brine's coming out, it's also chucking out salt water as well. The idea behind that is it uses less salt. The salt water also has an instant reaction on any frost that's on the road, because obviously it's water. And it also aids the salt to stick to the road. If the road was to be particularly dry, you can put the salt down and you can see it blowing away from behind it. It literally blows it away. So having the brine in there, it helps the salt stick to the ground. So yeah, we've got decent equipment for getting rid of the frost.
Yeah.
Right, so Amiga Nuts has just put on -30 C is -22 Fahrenheit.
Oh my goodness.
But like I say, that was in Germany. That wasn't not in Germany. That was in Poland. That wasn't over here. But when I was in Germany, we used to have a thermometer that was connected outside. And when I used to come downstairs in the middle of winter, it quite often said -15. I think we got down to coldest when I was in Germany at one point. I think it was -25. But you could be in -5, -10 for days at a time. So they had really cold winters. But the summers were absolutely gorgeous. We spent 90% of the summer in the back garden having barbecues. We hardly ever went into the house because the summers were absolutely gorgeous. Whereas over here in the UK, we don't get that cold a winter now, but we don't get warm summers neither. We can have it with 2 or 3 days of sunshine, and then the rest of the time it can be doing nothing but raining.
Yeah, all that ice build up in the snow, I bet it really saturates the ground really well once springtime rolls around and it kind of melts down into the ground and the ground stays saturated and the plants probably just dig it, just love it.
Yeah, true enough. But like I say, some winters, I think, was it last winter? Yeah, last winter we didn't get much frost at all. I've got a pond in the back garden. It never even frosted over. So yeah, you can't guarantee what our winter's going to be like. You can end up with a really, really mild winter where it might be wet and raining all the time, miserable weather, but hardly ever go below 0. I think we only, this year, they reckon in the first week we'd use the total amount of salt that we'd used the whole of the following winter. So in the first week of this winter, we used the total amount of salt we used in that 1 week was what we'd done over the full winter of the year before. So it showed you how mild the winter was before to how it was this year. And this year, I wouldn't even class as a bad winter. I think it was 2010 when we had our last bad winter. So about every 10 years or so, we'll get a really bad one, but the rest of the time, it's just cold and miserable, and sometimes doesn't drop below freezing.
Yeah, that's how it is most of the time here in Texas during the wintertime. It's just wet and cold, with the wind blowing,
And I quite enjoy the cold or snowy weather. I enjoy that because it's usually nice and bright. So you're getting sunny days and cold nights. So you've got the snow on the ground, and you've got the ice on the ground, but it's actually during the day, it's actually lovely to be outside. Whereas if you get rid of the snow and all you've got is wind and rain, it's bloody horrible to be outside. So
Yeah. That's one thing I learned about this last little freeze that we had. I was playing outside and working in the yard and stuff and just tinkering around. And then I went inside of a room that was well lit, had lights on, and I was blind. Like I could hardly see because my eyes hadn't adjusted to walking inside. But yeah,
yeah,
it's
know exactly what
bright.
you mean. Yeah. Right. Anyway, I'm gonna about call it a time. I don't know how long I've been on now. I've been on just over an hour, so I'm gonna call it a day. I need to get some stuff sorted out because I thought I'd just do this at the last minute. So yeah, thanks for coming in. You've made me day, and thanks for chilling me out on Andy's channel. I'm proper buzzing, over 100 subscribers. So yeah, thanks again, Tobin, for that.
Likewise, thank you for having me on. I enjoyed this interaction.
Do you
I
have
hope
a
there are
channel?
many more to come.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. I'll have to start doing some live streams like this and inviting people on. Do you have a channel?
Yes, I do.
All right. Do you want to fill it out?
Yeah, yeah, come and visit me. I make music and I'm putting out some new pieces right now that are just they're like rough drafts, and I eventually want to be able to add the other instruments and stuff like that, but I'm just getting the song ideas put out there, and then I'll go back and re-record them, and they'll probably come out quite different than how they started out. But
What's your channel called?
it's just my name, Tobin Templeman.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have a look because am I subscribed to you? I don't know if I am. Let's see if I am. No, but I will be in a minute. Is that one new? Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, that's me right there.
Yeah. Right. I'll subscribe to that. That's just done. Right. Is there a way that I can share that? Copy the link and see if I can. I should be able to post it in the chat, shouldn't I?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm on a new device. I have a new piece of hardware that I'm working with. So it's weird. On my phone, I can do it better.
Oh, Amiga Nuts has just done it. In fact, Amiga Nuts, I need to make you a. I'll make Amiga Nuts and you, Tobin, a mod on the channel. But I don't know how to do it from here. I'll probably have to do it when I get off. I aren't too sure how to do that.
Right on.
Oh, Amiga Nuts is. So I need to make you a mod.
Thank you. I'm honored. Heck yeah.
Right. Just bear with me. I should be able to do it if I go to. Right. I'm just going to go to my channel. How do I do this? Right, here we go. My channel. I'm live there. Right, can you just if you just put something in the chat so I can click on your chat that you've done. Just put hi or something like that, and then I should be able to just right click on your name when it comes up.
I've wondered about that, like how quickly it actually goes through.
Right, hide. Right, how do I do it? Amiga Nuts, you'll be able to tell me because when I click on it, it just says pin message, report, remove, put user in timeout, or hide user on this channel. But I don't. I want to make him a mod. How do I make him a mod? I have done it before, but let's say I'm new to all this. I can't. Yeah, Mega Nuts, if you're still there, can you tell me how to make Tobin a mod? See if he comes up without. I thought it was just click on. Yeah, how did he do it? I will do it. I will get it done for you. Don't worry.
Right on.
I don't know whether Amiga Nuts is still there, whether he's gone.
Oh, he just said, "Are you logged?
Are you logged directly into YouTube?" Right. No, I don't think so. Right, let me just close that one down.
Brainbug just joined into the chat.
Oh, hiya, Brainbug. I'm just saying, Brainbug, the stream that we did on the UFOs, I need to schedule that sometime to get streamed onto my channel. Right, let me just have a look.
And you know what? I'm gonna take this opportunity, Brian. I had said that I was going to send you a centipede, and I was for real about that. It just whenever I said it, I had been seeing them, and then it got cold, and they like disappeared on me, and it's springtime, and I'm sure of it. I'm going to come across some critters, and I would really like to contribute to your collection, and because I enjoy learning about the insects. You provide good insight, and I enjoy your channel.
Yeah, his knowledge is unbelievable, isn't it?
Yes.
I enjoy watching his stuff when he starts talking about the insects and whatever. It's something that most people have never really taken a lot of notice of. But then when he starts talking about it, it's just so fascinating, the knowledge that he comes out with. I love his channel. I've been subscribed to his channel now for probably going on for a year. And yeah, whenever he's doing his insect stuff, I think it's brilliant. Anyway, I've managed to do it. So if you put something in now, it should come up with you with a wrench. Just to confirm that it's done.
Awesome.
Sorted. No, thanks for your help, for shilling me out. I really, really much appreciate it.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me on. I enjoyed having this conversation. This is cool.
Brilliant. Yeah, well, I'm going to have to do more now that I've got my 100 subs.
Yeah. Woo-hoo.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll end the show because, like I say, I've got some stuff I need to get sorted out. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for shilling me out. Thanks for coming, everybody in the chat. Thanks for coming and watching. It's much appreciated. Right, I'll just end it here. I'll catch you all later. Cheers. See you later, Tobin.
Bye.
Bye.